Back to the channel and welcome to the game review on Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The beta has just finished over a weekend just gone, and I've been lucky enough to play both the beta and the alpha of Gunfight. And so today's video is going to be all about what I found, what my views are, and hopefully you're going to enjoy it. So we have quite a long list of stuff to get through today. I want to start by saying a couple of things. Number one, keep in mind that this is definitely a beta build of the game. It was an opportunity for the devs to kind of collect data on all kinds of stuff. So I'm sure, and I know that they're working on a whole lot of issues. However, they did ask for feedback, so I think this game review will help and give some feedback on that. Number two, what I wanted to say is I'm a long-time Call of Duty player. I have played the Modern Warfare series. I've played a lot of the Infinity Ward games. So I'm going to base a lot of what I'm going to talk about today on, number one, what I found the game to look like, but it's going to be based in direct comparison to a number of other games that I've played from that developer and from other developers in the Call of Duty series. And so, I've put a lot of hours into Call of Duty over the years, so I have got quite a good idea what I like in a Call of Duty and what I don't. And again, it is my opinion on what I like and what type of player I am. Feel free to disagree if you like. I'd love to hear your comments if you played the beta over the weekend, or if you played the Gunfight Alpha, the 2v2. I'd love to hear your comments and your feelings. However, let's just get into it, and we will go through bit by bit what we found, and hopefully you get a good rounded view of the game and whether it's for you. It does launch in about a month's time, 25th of October, so it won't be long until we get our hands on the full game. So yes, it is that time of year when we get all hop on the hype train that is Call of Duty. We get to play the beta. We get to play a whole lot of different beta games at the moment. Actually, a whole lot of games are dropping. It's all kind of crazy. And we have expectations, and then, yeah, a number of the community then are very disappointed about what the game looks like. That's generally normal. I just want to get in and say what I've found, and it is, I'm going to be honest, I'm not an Activision, I'm not sponsored by Activision, I haven't been flown anywhere, none of that. I'll just give you an honest appraisal as a Call of Duty player for quite a number of years. So hopefully you will enjoy this a little look-see at the game. So where do we start? Well, I've got to say the maps that they've come up with are typically Infinity Ward maps, and they've moved away from some of the other development companies that do Call of Duty in the 3-lane maps. I actually prefer this type of map system in Call of Duty, where it may well still be a 3-lane map, but there is so much dimension to it. There is, there's places to go up, under, over, all kinds of stuff to get in, areas to get into, to climb into. It's going to take quite a while to find your way around the maps, learn them all, learn all the little spots, where the traffic comes, where it doesn't, all that kind of stuff. The game itself looks absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. It's I would say for YouTube purposes though, you need to have your brightness down a little bit. Some of the areas inside can be a little dark when you do that, so I hope that they work on that a little bit and just tweak the shadows and tweak the contrast a little bit. But apart from that, graphically it is absolutely amazing, this game, and I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of kind of interactive things within a lot of the maps, like doors that you can open, and you can either go barging through the doors or you can open them quietly. I've got to say, I'd like to see the volume of the door when you go running through it reduced a bit. It doesn't really take my ears off. It is super real. The audio in this game is also quite amazing. Apart from the fact that the footsteps sounds needs a little bit of a tweak, in my opinion, because it was sometimes hard to tell whose footprints are who, and I know, having watched a number of videos from different content providers on YouTube and various sources, that this feedback has been given to the developers of the game, and yeah, it's something they're working on. Just, I don't think the audio is that bad. It's just being able to distinguish what is your own player versus what is an enemy player, as they have done in Ghosts and various other games in the past. I thank God they put the mini-map back in. I know that when the beta launched on PlayStation the week 1, they didn't have a mini-map in for I think the first day or so, and yeah, given that it's hard to distinguish where the footsteps are coming from and who they are, it would be even worse if you didn't have the mini-map that you can quickly glance up to and see if the footsteps are your teammates or whether there's somebody else. Let me talk a little bit about the feel of this game, because this game is different. It is quite different from previous Call of Duties in recent years, and I've got to say, in some ways I enjoy it, in some ways I can see what's coming, and the time to kill in this game is incredibly quick, as just demonstrated there. It is incredibly quick. However, I don't know whether it was because it was in beta or whatnot, but the ADSing, especially while you're sprinting and sprint at times, need to be worked on, especially for rushing players. This game, in my opinion, is going to be difficult to rush for the majority of us. Now, there are going to be you guys that are rushers that are probably sitting back laughing and say, yeah, no, I didn't have any problem. But for us mere mortals, I like to play a kind of aggressive style of gameplay at times. I like to vary it up, but I like to be aggressive, and I found it was I think it was a number of things. The ADS speed and sprint time, and the ADS speed is aimed down sight, so how quick it takes you to bring up your gun and fire, was a bit slow for me personally. I had to work on my sensitivity, my vertical and horizontal sensitivity a lot, and it's much higher in this game than any other Call of Duty that I've ever played, and I still think it's too slow. So that kind of needs a little bit of work and tweaking, in my opinion. The other thing I was going to say is, yeah, if you're caught sprinting, getting your gun up and ADSing can be a problem. You basically have to stop and then pull your gun up, and that leads me to what I think is going to happen with this game. Now, this map you're seeing now is Zyr's Cave. I played this as a rusher, and I was getting absolutely cleaned up. And then probably halfway through the weekend, I actually slowed myself down, and I will be putting some gameplay up, different gameplay up to illustrate this probably in a couple of weeks. But I slowed myself down, and I started, sitting in corners and sitting in buildings, killing, moving, that kind of stuff, and I've done much better. And so that concerns me that this Call of Duty is going to be much more a camper's Call of Duty, but that is pretty normal for an Infinity Ward game as well. So it's somewhere in the middle is going to be the style that you're going to have to adopt. But I hope that they do do some couple of tweaks, just so that us rushers can ADS just that fraction quicker. Hit detection over the weekend for me, and I found this in the gunfight, the 2v2 alpha as well. The hit detection is off. There's something not quite right about it. Now, a lot of what I'm talking about is not unusual for a Call of Duty game, let me tell you. It's not unusual. A lot of the things that I'll raise, and over the years you'll hear consistently when a new game comes out, the same things being brought up time after time after time. But the hit detection in this game, I don't know, there's something not right. I don't know if it's a connection issue, whether it's the matchmaking, I'm not sure, but at times I was having to put in so many bullets to people and then getting one-shotted, and let me tell you, there was times over the weekend that I was very, very, very frustrated with the game. Here's my thoughts on it. There is a matchmaking system in this game. If you are doing well, and it happened to me a couple of times that I'm aware of. I wasn't always aware of it, but I was sitting in the same lobbies, and then I'd suddenly be with a number of different players that weren't in the lobby that I just came from. And you can see there's an example where I got shots on him first and he just demolished me. But yeah, suddenly I'm in a different lobby and I have a really tough time getting kills, etc. And I'm sure that that's matchmaking. If I've had a successful game, then it drops you in another lobby based on your KD, and there's a lot. It seems to be that's how it feels. That it seems to be that it's dropping you into different lobbies based on your KD and trying to match you up and make it a little bit more equal, and it gets incredibly sweaty. Over the weekend, I didn't have a huge amount of issues with connection, although with this hit detection issue that I had every so often, I'm wondering whether I did have connection problems and I wasn't totally aware of it. There is no kind of bars, those traditional bars that you can see how good your connection is, etc. In the game, and so you have no idea whether you got a good pad or indifferent connection during each game and each match. So there could be a bit of that happening. I'm not sure. I did experience some lag during the beta, and it was pretty much on kind of day three. I had some major lag issues, but you know that, like I said, it is a beta. The devs may have pushed things to see where the servers would tolerate and wouldn't tolerate. I did have some lag issues there. The new Grand War mode had some issues where you would be in the middle of a game and it would just disconnect completely. And all this stuff I expect to happen during a beta weekend. It's pretty normal. So you can't judge the finished game on that, but it did happen and I expected to happen. I actually expected it to happen a heck of a lot more frequently than it did. So I think they done pretty well on their connections over the weekend. I have heard other people that had really bad experiences. That wasn't me. I didn't get any real frame drops as such. I did get some weird stuff which I will show you happening during my gameplay, but it was very, very minimal, and yeah, so the connections were pretty solid. So let's have a look around the UI. So we come to this new screen. You do keep in mind this is a beta, so this may well change. You have quick play. We've put Grand War and NVG nighttime maps, so night vision maps. These have changed throughout the beta. They've actually changed couple of times. So this what is new this year is this little filter menu, and I'm interested to see whether this will survive, because it gives you the option of filtering what games, so you can kind of cycle through. You can just hit the quick play and it'll cycle through each of these games and pick a random game for you, or you can unselect these like that and just have one chosen. I've tried all of these actually. I've played every single one of these except Headquarters 20 player, and they're pretty solid game modes, but I'm not sure that it's a different way of doing things. I can see what they're trying to achieve. I'm not sure that I really like that. And then of course here and here they have some featured featured game modes. So pretty standard, pretty easy one to get your head around. Weapons, obviously you have your custom loadouts. With your custom loadouts you can go to Gunsmith and you can actually pick up to 5 attachments. I actually had put that on and it didn't really do much for me. So I'm going to take that off. It actually made things a little bit worse. I put extended mags onto the M4A1. Solid gun. I've been using the M4A1, the MP5, and the MP7 mostly during the beta. I've also used the AK-47. They're all solid guns. You can see you unlock these depending on your weapon level. All pretty standard stuff, and you will see for the first time ever there are both pros and cons to the attachments that you put on your guns. I haven't really found too much of a drama with the attachments, to be honest. I've just put on what I liked. You can see the M4A1. I've actually got quite a bit of stuff on there, and this thing just melts, let me tell you, as does the MP5. So pretty cool addition. You can also put a perk on your gun if you like. There you go. And it shows you what it does. We might put FMG on this and just see how it looks. A lot of customization there if you need to do it. Kill streaks, whole ton of kill streaks. Pretty standard, and it's based on kills, as you can see, which is kind of cool. All the usual suspects. And then you have these field upgrades that you can apply, which I've used the munitions box. And they are pretty cool. I probably will be using as many people will Dead Silence. All pretty standard, and you can see the recharge rate here is pretty is either slow to medium to fast. So interesting way to do it. Operators, we only got access to 2 operators during the beta, but I'm sure there'll be more there. And then of course the barracks, which is where all your stats kind of sit, and you can change your calling cards, do all kinds of stuff in there, change your emblems, and obviously your stats will be in here. For the kind of cool that it tells you with each of these kind of levels what you're going to get, which I like. No stats for the player yet, and I think that's mainly due to the fact that it's just a beta. So that's the UI. It's pretty nice. I like it. I like what they've done apart from this filtering system. So the guns in this game are very solid. They are extremely solid. I enjoyed them a lot. I don't think I found a bad gun, to be honest. There's guns, and the way that you can customize them is good. The one thing that I really am excited about this year, though, is the fact that you can actually edit your loadout on the run. So if something's not working for you as you're in gameplay like this, you can actually go into your menu and change the gun you're using, change the attachments on the fly, which I think I love. Absolutely, hats off to these guys, the developers. This is just a game changer in my opinion. It will also let you change your gun pretty much automatically on the fly instead of having to wait for a respawn. So I think that is a really nice addition to the game. Now I did so the level cap on the beta for the weekend was 20 to start with, and then they upped it to 30. So I waited until I got a little bit further to 30 before I reviewed the perks. And you see I'm getting cleaned up in this game before I reviewed the perks, so we'll do that next. Now the perk system in this game is a little bit hidden. So you can see I'm in the loadout screen here. You've got to go to edit loadouts. I'll go that way. And as you can see, if you go down, obviously you have your secondaries, but if you go down, there are your perks. And I'll just take you through what you've got. So perk 1, you've got double time. I use that a lot. It's sprinting. Overkill. You can carry 2 primary weapons. Scavenger is pretty self-explanatory. Taking reduced damage from claymores and whatnot. Undetectable, cold-blooded, that's pretty normal. Quick fix is a stim, like a stim pack, and it helps you regenerate a little bit quicker. I'm running ghosts at the moment. We got restock, recharge your equipment over 30 seconds. Hardline is get your kill streaks for 1 less kill. Vision pulse for high alert. Ghost kind of makes you undetectable from UAVs and whatnot, which is pretty key. A lot of people were running that during the beta. And kill chain, kill streaks earned in your current life, earn kill credits. So if you die, by normal circumstances your kill streaks will reset. If you've got kill chain on, they don't, they just continue. Tune up, okay, so that increases the charge rate of your field upgrades. We covered that field upgrades before. Amped basically allows you to swap weapons quicker. Shrapnel spawns an extra piece of lethal equipment, explosive damage, etc. Battle hardened, reduced strength of enemies' flashes. That's what I'm running at the moment. Spotter, see your enemy equipment, field upgrades, kill streaks through walls. And then tracker, you can see if a enemy player has been there by his footprint. So there you go, that's the perk system that we have. It's a little bit different to the gun perks. We'll just go over to those because every gun has a number of perks, and these perks are different per gun. I found that. So sleight of hand's pretty self-explanatory. Heavy hitter is melee produces greater stun on targets. FMJ, where that's increased bullet penetration. Extra training provides greater accuracy support position, so when you're crouched or prone you get better accuracy there. So both cause target healing to be briefly delayed. Okay, and so that's like they're bleeding. And fully loaded is start with maximum reserves of ammo. Let's go to another gun just to prove the fact that your perks are different on different guns. Some are the same, some are different. So you can see there's the wounding one, fast melee, recon, and that's the one where it puts a red name, and you can see it for further away. FMJ sleight of hand. So you can mix and match these as you like. Obviously it counts to a slot, as you can see up in the top left, and yeah. There you go, that's the perk system for you. Let's get to one of the most exciting things about this new game, and that is crossplay. And you can see here we have Mikey, myself and VaultGirl in the same lobby, and VaultGirl was on PlayStation 4. Now I've got to say, over the weekend the crossplay integration was pretty smooth, pretty flawless actually. I didn't have too many player problems. I played against PlayStation players, I played against PC players and Xbox players, and there was no dramas with it. What I will say, there is a couple of things. What I will say is that this whole situation where you have to have an Activision account is not a major drama. However, to set up your friends list was a little bit difficult, I'm not going to lie. It took us a little bit of time to figure out how to do it, but once we did, it was the game working as a team was pretty flawless. We did find that because we were a team of 3, it took us a little bit of time to get into lobbies. Now I'm not sure that that's a direct problem with crossplay. I think that's just because we were in a group of 3. I know that talking to Mikey and talking to Shell over the weekend, that they found that when they were only playing on PlayStation, they got into lobbies much easier, but they were only playing as a 2-player team. Also, when I played solo on Xbox, I had no problems getting into lobbies. So hopefully that's not cross-play specific, but I've got to say, all in all, they did a terrific job with the cross-play integration. So now to some of the negatives found over the weekend, and there actually isn't that many, to be honest. I have got a lot of kind of list on the cons, but I've kind of walked through them and explained them. And again, some of this is very much that it's a testing phase for the game, but there are a couple of things that I really did not like. The spawns, and I know the developers have had this feedback and they're working on it. The spawns were completely whacked. There was something not right about them. You have to spawn in, take 2 steps, and run into the whole opposition team. They would just or run around the corner and get absolutely cleaned up. There was just something weird about the spawns in this game, and hopefully they'll work on that. Now that's not including Grand War. Now Grand War, as I get killed by a guy sitting in the corner, Grand War is got a completely different spawn system, and for that game mode and that type of game mode, I sort of expect that, and I can live with that. But for normal modes like Team Deathmatch, Domination, everything, they've got to work on the spawns. Now, the second thing that I'll say relates to how you spawn into the game at the start and then when you die. I do not like these Rainbow Six type animations that you get coming out of when you spawn in a new game, where you're coming out of helicopters, you're coming out of vans, all this kind of stuff. I do not get the point of it. It's given away from lobby time that you can work on your gun setups and stuff like that, and I just don't get it, to be honest. I just don't get it. I'm not a fan of it. It's not something that, I just don't like it. I don't like it. When you die, this respawning where it flies over the map and then puts it back in, get rid of it. I don't want to be at the game for a couple of seconds, 3 or 4 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever it is. Just spawn me back in. I don't need this kind of. And I found a lot of this in the game over the weekend. They've made a lot of changes that are very cosmetic and kind of differentiate it from different Call of Duties, and I don't think that it adds anything to the game whatsoever, in my opinion. I'm really not a fan of that kind of those animations. I ran with some claymores over the weekend, and I found they were pretty useless actually. I think of the time that I put a claymore down and where I thought people should be, especially in Domination, they didn't trigger. People were countering my perks or whatever. They just didn't trigger. And so, yeah, I don't know what was going on there. I've heard differing views on this about they're too sensitive. I had the opposite. I had the opposite experience. These claymores just, for me, didn't work as I would expect them to. So that was a little disappointing for me. However, that's it. That's all I really had to say about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. My overall impressions, I'm going to play a lot of this game. I think the fact that they have got so many game modes in this game, they've kind of tweaked traditional game modes like Domination plays a little bit differently. The version of Search and Destroy plays a little bit differently. The 20v20, 10v10, 2v2, Grand War, all these different game modes are going to keep me busy for a while. I really like it. I don't like some of the cosmetic stuff they've put in, and I hope that the things that I've raised in the video, that they do get kind of sorted out and tweaked and optimized before launch. But overall, my rating for this game is probably a 3.5 out of 5. I really did enjoy playing this game over the weekend, despite the problems, and I can see myself putting in a lot of time into this game when it launches in October. And I hope this has been useful for you to get a good overview of how Modern Warfare looks for 2019, the different maps, the different kind of interfaces, etc. And it gives you kind of balanced view of whether the game is for you. Now, if you do want to come in and play with us as a group, we will be. I know there's a number of us that are going to be playing this game. I'm not sure at this point whether we will put that gameplay up or live stream it or anything like that. I suspect we're going to be playing it just on our own in kind of as a private thing. We might get in some private matches where we get all friends together and yeah, we play some custom game modes and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to a few of us playing 2v2 against each other and that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be a great amount of fun. And I think I'm going to be spending a lot of time in this game mode personally, this 36 versus 36 Grand War game mode. So guys, thanks for joining us on the channel. Thanks for supporting the game reviews series plus everything else that we are bringing you. I hope you're enjoying it. A like rating really does help the channel, and I love to read your comments as ever. If you haven't subscribed and want to see some more from the channel, keep up to date, please hit that red button. We'll catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya!